was going to ask you a good question on that. So, whenever you're at a show, all right, is it very, very stressful for you to feel like the success of your client weighs on your shoulders, like their placing weighs on your shoulders? Because I get that at a show, like I'm sweating, my palms are sweating, I'm pacing. Like I feel like if they fail, that's going to be a direct like correlation to me. Now it's like the same thing in the NFL. Like if your team loses, it's not necessarily the coach's fault, but the coach after the game takes all the heat. We're like, dang, like we messed up, we did this. How do you feel?
Yeah, I think that comes with the title to a small degree, but I think emotionally, because we're invested and we care, like I notice, bro, I have so much more emotion when my clients are competing than I am actually competing.
Yeah.
When I had a guy turn pro at Nationals a couple weeks ago, but then I had another guy place fourth and didn't get his pro card, I felt the emotion of not winning or having my client win that pro card more than I did my client actually winning the pro card. And I think I wanted to be in the moment for him and excited, but at the same time, like you're being pulled in multiple different directions, right? So that's I think the hardest part about the job because I love this shit, bro. I
Oh
love
yeah. Oh yeah.
and that goes back into it, the conversation we initially started. That's why I do well with, financially based off of what I do because I put a lot of passion into it, right? And
Exactly.
it came over time, but
And
yeah,
people see that. People see that.
yeah. Uh-oh, you kill
No.
it? Your face already leaning back out. He pulled the trigger. Yeah, he's back.
No,
Yeah,
geez.
goddamn nasty ass
Hey,
chicken and rice.
he's gonna be more angry as we go along on these posings every week. It's gonna get worse and worse for them.
He gets more blunt and blunt as the
Yeah,
weeks
right.
closer to the Olympia.
The political Aaron
Yep.
starts to go out the fucking window, and then the competitive Aaron comes, just keeps coming.
You can see
So
as the Olympia got closer, like that fire
Yep.
in Aaron started to come back a little bit. He sends little shots, then he pulls it back. He'll send one, pull it back. You gotta love it,
yeah,
man.
absolutely.
You feeling good
So
though?
absolutely, man, I feel phenomenal.
Second,
Um,
second week engaged.
yeah, second week engaged, and we got stuff that we're still building on right now, just as far as business stuff, and we just started. We haven't really truly announced it yet, but this motherfucker. Bro, so I got these little gnats that came in my house because of course I've been gone for 3 weeks
Ah.
and I guess I had water in the
Mhm.
damn sink and I'm like, okay, annoying. But no, man, we're building on some stuff and we're gonna announce here pretty soon that we're gonna start our coaching team. So um
Oh, we were just
I
talking
don't
about that.
I don't want to coach women, and I'm sure my women don't want me coaching women because I
I'm the
just know
same
how
way.
Hey, that's a real thing, isn't it? That's a real thing.
Yep.
it's used. My lady was like, "Oh, you ain't gonna be with me if you coaching women." I'm like,
Oh,
all right, whatever." So the thing is, bro, it's just like I told her, I said, "Babe, like at the end of the day, we can be making an extra 200, $300,000 a year based on me coaching women." And the thing is, like, she has the market.
yeah,
Like when
she
I say
does.
her market is crazy, her
Yeah.
market is absolutely insane. So especially the Hispanic, and not just Hispanic, just pregnant women, women who've been out of shape. You know what I mean? Because she has her own story, and the thing is, I just persuaded her and kind of told her kind of some of the numbers. I was talking to Cuts about it. He was like, "Bro, you can easily make this, and this." And it only makes sense. And when I'm hearing these numbers, we all know I'm on my high about making my money right now. So I heard those numbers and I said, yeah,
That's a
it has to happen. It has to happen. And the thing is I said, all you have to do is just talk to these women. And that's all a lot of athletes want, which I'm not that type of coach, but I will help her coach. You know what I mean?
So, okay, I got you. So she's going to be a coach on the team with you. She'll handle more of the females. You'll handle more of the males. Is that kind of how it's
Yes.
shaping up? You
And
know,
then overlook it. Yeah.
it's funny you said that, man. I've heard more recently, ironically, how many of the male coaches who I'm friends with, their significant other doesn't like them coaching females. And I started to think about it because to me it was never a question. I never really thought about it. Is Chris, do you coach females at all?
No, I don't. And there's a big a serious reason for that. It's not necessarily sometimes the coach that's the problem. Sometimes it's the athlete that's the problem. So they will actually pursue the coach because that coach fits all of the criteria that they're looking for in a man. And you know how females can be sometimes. They can actually go after a man because they see that man has everything that they want, right? They have the wife, the fiance, whatever that is. They know that you take care of that person. They're like, I want that as well. So just for that reason, I've never wanted to put myself in a position where I was being hit on or whatever that may be. Now, I'm not saying that I could be professional and shoot out of the way or whatever that may be, but I just never wanted to be in that predicament. Plus, I just know a lot more from the PED side and everything
Yeah.
for men. So I'm more comfortable doing that. So that's more of my expertise. So I don't ever want to dive into something that I'm not as well versed in, if that makes sense.
That makes sense, like educationally wise,
Yeah.
like you want to make sure because their hormones are a lot different than male hormones.
Yeah.
But
And then that's why you also like, even though like I don't, where I've personal trained women and I've coached women, meal plans and stuff like that. But as far as like PEDs and stuff like that, that's why you got to have great mentors
Yeah.
and people
yeah,
to help you. And one thing about cuts is, bro, I can ask him a question about any one of my clients, and he's like, boom, what about this? Do this, X, Y, and Z. So that's why I'm like, we got to pull the trigger because I don't want to be missing out on this type of money, and of course everything that I'm doing in the industry now, as far as giving back, going to shows, doing X, Y, and Z, now bringing athletes and continuing to elevate the industry alone, not just men's physique, but now taking it to the other side.
yeah, I like that, man. Drew, you're an online coach too, right?
Yeah.
Do you coach females or would you ever coach females?
Yeah, I do females.
Oh, you do?
I've done a lot of different type of coaching. So I've done women postpartum, I've done vegans,
Uh,
so I'm very versatile when it comes to coaching. And I think what makes a good coach is not just doing a prep coach, it's taking somebody that's fat and making them something. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah,
some people are weird about their terms, but I'm a coach that isn't for everybody. I'm going to say it how it is. So if somebody is fat, it's a representation of either being lazy. When people talk about, oh, I'm predisposed to this, and there's a lot of stuff that we're all predisposed to. And I think they're excuses. When I was shot, I was told I'd never be able to work out again. But if I just listened to that advice and never did and sulked in my own sadness, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now. So the people that are out of shape, I like to teach them healthy habits. And there's a lot of people that have children, and those children grow up and they get in the habit of doing what their out of shape parents do. And ultimately it's unhealthy. You get so much more out of life being in shape. And I always will advocate for fitness and will continue to do that. So coaching, specifically women just for that purpose. And then also men, the same exact thing. I mean, they are different to train when they got that time of the month. They have, their thyroid's a little bit different when you kind of break it down and go very,
hormones in general.
the intricate details are different, but a human body is still a human body. So there's things that you could apply from training a man to a female, but the goals are also different. Women tend to think, I don't want to be like a man, I don't want to build muscle. And if it was that easy, they would be jacked.
Let me ask you this because I 100% agree with you. I think my favorite females or favorite clients to coach are females most of the time. They tend to be the hardest working. Yes, there's a lot of like emotional things that comes with that, but they're usually the ones who have more emotions attached to it because they have more effort attached to it. So when it comes to the females, I'm not necessarily talking X's and O's wise. Do you think Maria would ever feel some type of way with you coaching certain female clients?
So I actually already took this upon myself. So when I coach somebody, um, I immediately tell her, and I know Ariel's probably the same way. There are things when you coach a female that could be, misconstrued and could cause problems, especially if I was a single guy at the time. I coached these women, some women being vulnerable and working with a coach and seeing them pretty much half naked. It could change their perception, the way that they view you. I know James Atlas has talked about this a lot as well, and he's the best female coach right now on planet Earth, as far as competitive bodybuilding. But I always have the woman check in with their man on a private, like a thread to where it's like a group chat, like we're all in. He doesn't have to respond, but at least he sees it that way in case something is misconstrued or
Wait.
misunderstood. And
They check in with their significant other, like in the group chat?
so let's say I'm just training the
I
female. even if he's not even with me, I still have him on the thread.
Really?
So he could see everything that's going on. Yep.
I never.
But what if she's single?
If she's single, I mean, I haven't trained a woman that is single. So, I mean, if it were to get to that point, it's something that I would have to, cross-examine it when I got there. But the main thing is, and why I train female, and it's not the main thing that I do, but I think being a good coach is being versatile and, challenging yourself with different things. But if they were single, I probably wouldn't take them on.
Really?
I'm very specific with the guys I work with. And obviously you all being coaches, I don't know if you're the same way, but if I consult with somebody and I have, let's say, a conversation, within 5 minutes, I'll know if I'm able to train them or not based on where their mindset is. If I ask them what their goal is and they say, I want to be pro, it's like, no, listen, before the status, everybody wants to be pro. Everybody wants to be a millionaire. Everybody wants to be, God's gift, right? But not everybody can be. What are your goals? What are you doing right now to get to that point? Obviously, the first step is reaching out to me, but what do you expect from this experience? And, I kind of will dictate whether I move forward or not based on their responses to me. And that makes it easy for me, because you could tell if somebody asks and spams questions all the time, even working with them, it's going to be like pulling teeth. It's pulling teeth to get the monthly payment. It's pulling teeth to get check-ins, even though they pay one time and they think they're getting everything, 24/7 access to where it's almost like they're, they could ask you anything all day.
They're in a room with you.
It's crazy how similar.
Exactly.
It's crazy how similar we all are, because before you guys got on here, Chris and I were talking about how a lot of the landscape of bodybuilders don't look at hiring a coach as you're paying somebody like for their job. Like, this is what we do for a living. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of times when people, make that investment in a coach, they don't see it through. They don't treat it with respect. They don't treat the coach with respect. And I think, I don't know, man, I've noticed a not to say a shift, but how public it's become a little bit more of the disrespect from coaches. But
everybody's a coach too, Alex. I don't mean to interrupt you, but it gives me a thought as you bring this up, because I think people look at our success and they assume that by the way that we look, that we're going to give them some sort of magical plan to where they're going to look like us in a month. And because they don't do that, and they actually, I don't know if you ever signed a guy and then they're all excited and they say everything that they're going to do, and then you give them the plan and they're kind of like, then they become distant because they realize, wow, I'm not actually getting anything. It's magical. It's like once you give them and they don't understand or comprehend.
That are that way.
The basics of bodybuilding is what's going to get you there. It's the standard. I think what people don't realize, my best question I get from somebody who I'm onboarding or somebody who's interested in the process is, what separates you from somebody else? And I'm sitting here and I got that question enough where I was like, no, let me actually think about that for a second, right?
I've gotten it too, yeah.
Yeah, and I started to break down like things in my head on what I feel like I offer compared to other people, structure, efficiency, But I realized there's nothing different between Drew, Chris, Aaron writing a meal plan for somebody and, that being the end all be all. It becomes down to your ability and your judgment in the moment to make a decision, right? Like I always say, as a prep, you have to understand there's a timeline and there's decisions within each week that you have to make in order to get to the timeline or to that end goal at your all-time best. And I think it's the decisions you make, not the meals, not the training necessarily, right? It's the innate things that a coach has over time that they build that allows a client to get to that end point at their all-time best. But again, I can talk about this forever. I love coaching.
Same. Hey, I do have one more thing on that.
Back on. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, what is your most successful client? Is it the client that has been with you years and years and years and basically has listened to everything you said? Or is it the client that basically was a nobody at the beginning and then you built them up yourself? Like what's your perfect client? Like your best client on your roster, what do they do?
It's Dorian. It's people like Dorian, for example, somebody who I've had the opportunity to have my hands on basically from the ground up, somebody who listens. He might ask a lot of questions, might be a little annoying with that at times, but like he cares. And that's what shows through. And that's why he gets at his all-time best as he gets there. Right. And I feel like it's clients that I had the opportunity to mold from start to finish. What up?
How's it going, fellas? How y'all doing?
What's up, bro?
What? You look good. I like this.
Happy,
I'm not
happy
used to seeing
Monday.
like
Of
that.
course, for the shows I gotta do a clean shave just to look professional. So I always shave off my beard every show. So it's just like always do it every year.
Are you ever gonna
Gotcha.
keep like a mustache or anything? You ever think you're gonna do that?
I mean, maybe I should do that
You
because
should, man.
You
my dad has
should.
a mustache. So I'm just like maybe I'll try to look like him on stage.
New and
You look like
improved. New and
super
improved.
troopers out there.
Yeah. What
How
was
you
that?
No, I said you look like super troopers out there going on stage. You
Yeah.
get automatic first, bro.
how you
I'm gonna do a mustache next time. So it was just to switch it up because I do look like a different person when I shave off. So it's
you
just
do,
like
bro. You
I'm
do.
not used to it. So
How
it's a
you,
different look.
how you feeling? Are you in Chicago yet?
No, so I'm gonna leave tomorrow because Chicago's kind of weird because it's like 48 hour waiting period. So it's the check is on Thursday.
If I
Oh,
were you, if I
Thursday.
were you, I will fly as early as possible.
Yeah,
Dallas, Austin, bro, their flights are so backed up right now.
the
it
Tampa
is.
It's
It is.
too. It's
it's
bad.
ridiculous. Bro,
Yeah.
I just got home yesterday. I was supposed to be home Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Thing
Yep.
is, like they couldn't rebook me for my original flight until Tuesday today at 10:40.
yeah, it's crazy.
So I told them no, reroute me to LAX. I'll drive home, whatever it is, what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so hopefully
be careful.
tomorrow. Yeah, yeah. That's I'm gonna try to at least hopefully everything tomorrow is smooth and nothing major happens because I do have to make weight on Thursday. So.
Bro, just that
Uh,
cortisol sometimes. I know Drew and I were both going through like a stressful travel situation at the same time,
yeah,
trying to do the same damn show.
yeah.
You know how that can be. But brother, first off, man, thank you for hopping on with us today, man. I wanted to bring you on. I wanted to, highlight you and just hear, a little bit more about the decision to make that transition back to men's physique. You
And,
brought
and I got some special feedback for you too. So
Oh, really? Appreciate
well,
it. Appreciate it. All the feedback is needed because, my goal is to obviously do my best. I'm still young in the game and my goal is just to learn and observe.
Dan, how
And
old
just,
are you?
I'm 27, 27,
That's fucking crazy.
27.
27 years
And
old.
if we're going to talk about somebody that actually does education for their coaching, give Dan some credit here about what we were just talking about because he posts it all the time, all the education he does for
Mhm.
training and all that good stuff. And dude, give him props for that because that is something you don't see often. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really big on maybe because, it's just the way I think. It just has to be like a logical step to me when I do something, right? So
Yeah.
I'm always big on just educating myself and just making sure, I know what I'm doing, especially when it comes to coaching, which is again the process that allows me to bodybuild is through online coaching. It gives me the right to bodybuild effectively.
I don't think
Always,
people know how smart you are, bro. Like I've seen
yeah,
your knowledge grow for over the years, and I've had a hands-on experience with it. And seeing how much you've grown from then to now is absolutely insane, man. So Chris is right.
thank
You get kudos for that. But during this segment, typically what we do, we have Drew do his thing. He runs through the top six. We give our feedback with him, and then obviously want to hear a little bit more about your story. But Drew, do your thing.
All right, so I want you to go to the back poses real quick too, so I could have a really fresh look of all these guys.
Yeah, but I want to talk
Okay.
about Mario Stewart too.
Yeah. So I'd like to say, first and foremost, 5 and 6 place have a very, very similar structure. I think Ismail is a little bit fuller, but Stan is definitely more peeled. And this is the Stan that we've always kind of have seen throughout the years. I know he didn't get the best peak in the past couple of showings, but he finally put it together here. And he looks really good. And I think with this lineup where he stacked up, he definitely deserved the placing that he got. Ismail, I think his back is a little bit on the flat side. I don't know how close he is to that weight cap, but I do think that he is a lot flatter than what I used to see. I know he was a guy in 2018, 2019 that was pretty dominant going to the Olympia. He's a fan favorite over in Mexico. Always had a really, really dope, full, bubbly look and really, really good core. But I think that he might be playing with fire with that weight cap a little bit because I
Yes.
noticed that in certain parts he's definitely flattening out, but has the structure, has the thickness, has the size. He finds the ways to pose to make his strengths look strong, but definitely needs to bring up that back. And I think more so it's going to be a fullness issue and a peak thing with him. Same thing with Stan. I think Stan had one of the lighter tans in this lineup here. And you don't really know how light your tan is until you're on stage and you're next to some of these other guys.
Yep.
But he is a guy who definitely, like Alex said, controlled the variables for this show specifically, has the fullness. He's always been a very chest, shoulder dominant guy, not necessarily the best taper structure, but he needs to get that peak and check to really, maximize his placement, very complete head to toe, especially with the legs, the calves, everything. So when you look at him, it's very pleasing, but structurally, he doesn't have necessarily the best structure. So that's why falling fifth place, in this lineup. And then we start getting to the guys that are structurally pleasing to the eye. So Mario Stewart, we always talked about his shape. I know Chris was talking about, he's a guy that once he fills out, he will be, a threat. And as you could tell, just in comparison to Dan, they're both really wide clavicularly, but Dan's just more filled out than Mario Stewart. I think they have a very similar frame as far as the aesthetics from the shoulders to the waist. But, Mario Stewart, I think he's a little bit more on the flat side. He is getting conditioned. He is competing more and more. I think this might be his 6th or 7th show, and he's consistently in that first call out. But his body, and when I say it's getting tired, I think it's more so he's not staying as full. And you'll notice it in prejudging when he does come out, he starts to fade as he goes as well.
Wait, real quick. Do you see Mario Stewart's midsection right here? You see how he's on his obliques?
And it didn't stay like that, especially in those photos that you just showed me. And his chest was also flexed because he's pushing so far into. So this pec looks flexed and the other one is flattening out as he goes. That just it gives me it leads me to believe that's just a fullness thing. He's conditioned as he could be. I think it was some of his best conditioning, but the conditioning doesn't matter if you're not as full. So sacrificing that fullness for the conditioning, especially in this lineup to where the guys are very, very full in condition, that's the discrepancy right here. Damn. So I think he has a really, really consistent dope look, and he is probably the tallest guy in this lineup. I'm not too sure.
Yes.
Especially with the angle he's also at. Any of the guys on the end usually tend to look bigger for the people viewing this just because the way that the camera is. So it's kind of hard to go off of that just because the way that it's angled in, because he does look like a monster, and I don't think he's that big in comparison to Dan or Josh.
Drew, these guys, so just for the viewers reference here, the guys on the end, would you recommend them posing towards the judges, so doing a slight angle? Because if you go back, you'll see it here in a second when I turn around. Mario Stewart is kind of he's aiming forward at us, right? But the judges, the head judge is there in the middle. Would you recommend angling a little bit more so they could see that lat that he's hiding there? What would you say?
Two parts of this question. It's a really good question because I always wondered this when I was coming up. Now, yes, angle in, but if you angle in too much, it's going to actually take away from you, because then you don't see yourself when you're on stage. You're looking forward. Sometimes people aren't aware of their surroundings, and this is why stage time is very important, because the more shows that you do, you're going to be more self-aware of where you're at. So yes, I would definitely angle in, especially towards that head judge. But if you're angling too much toward the head judge, the judges that are on the end, they're not getting the fair look too. So I think you could kind of swivel a little bit and kind of pose it and hold it. And if you reset, do it in a way to where it looks more, it's free flowing, to where it just looks like it's pleasing. Because there's a lot of guys that are robotical too, and they just kind of move. You want to be more free flowing to where you're posing to where it's comfortable and also looks good. So I definitely would kind of go in between to show all the judges. When you come out in your routine, when I hit it, I don't count. And a lot of people count, but time goes by fast when you are counting and posting on that. I look left to right, and then I look forward again, acknowledge the judge. And I kind of rock with it as you're presenting the physique from all angles.
Yeah. Dan, let me ask you this. Is there anybody in this lineup who really stood out to you?
I'll say with Steven, the score was just like, I saw him backstage, I was just like, Jesus Christ. It was just like, I saw that quote, I was just like, again, I don't have that. I think it's just genetics. Like my legs are just not that sharp. Maybe it's just due to just my time in the league. Maybe the more, obviously the more I compete, the more that those obliques are going to show. But I just noticed since I started bodybuilding, no matter how I diet, those obliques just don't show as much. But it was just that just those obliques were just sharp, they were razor sharp.
Certain pictures you could say from a viewing standpoint that Steven did give you a run in the back pose. You still have size and density, but I'll say the same thing about your back, Dan, as I do about Steven. You guys have very symmetrical. It's traditional, but almost not. It almost looks implanted, but your physique has improved so much to where the back is a strength and will always be a strength for your physique, but it is also everything else came up to kind of blend in a little bit more. And that's why you're rewarded with moving up. And you could tell with your emotion, shaking your head and, getting excited. It gave me chills watching this, I always want to see guys that could take the feedback from a loss, come back in and utilize what they learned from that loss to come in better. And you did just that. It was never that you were doubted. You were a guy that a lot of fans hyped you up from the beginning to where you had, all the positivity going into it from all the people that believed in you. And there's certain things that, was rubbing guys wrong way in the league, because there was a lot of things that Hart was saying to where it was like, he's going to come in, he's going to win the Olympia and all this stuff. And none of this was said by you, but you never knew where you would be because you haven't done a show of that caliber yet. So I think getting the placement that you did last year, or what was it, 23?
Yeah, it was last year.
Yeah, last year, 2024. I think that loss is what kind of motivated you and your coach to go back to the grid and kind of replan what you're going to do. And it definitely showed in your physique. So when I saw you coming out and you were moved to center, I believe you're the first one, like, you get that excitement. It reminds me a lot of myself when I was moved to center for my first time and being in that center. It's a feeling that you're never gonna really understand until you're there. And now you finally are there. So welcome to the pro league.
Yeah, appreciate it.
And you said it perfectly. There's a lot of emotion that went into the show. There's a lot of questions going into the show, bro.
Yeah,
So let's stop on Dan. Dan, you got feedback after the show, did you?
Yeah, I did.
What was your feedback?
So pretty much I went to Bill, just like, everything's perfect. Your arms are just too big. I was just like, I lost like 2 inches off my arms. Like, you want them to fall?
I don't agree with that, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So let me tell you, I definitely agree with it. I agree with the thing is, talking to Bill and watching you step on stage, bro, you're fucking huge. You have a lot of muscle, and that's what they're looking at. And the thing is, and kind of talking to Bill, and I'm saying, like, you can't pump up.
No.
You cannot pump up.
Absolutely.
Whatever show you go do next, do not touch a weight.
Were you pumping up backstage?
I was. You know what's funny?
You know what would be actually smart? You know what would be smart to do? It's not that don't pump up. What if you just did some air squats, put some blood in your legs to where you took some blood out of your upper body? Because I think it wouldn't be as engorged to where you're bursting at the seams. Now, the only reason why I say I disagree with the feedback of two arms, individually, there's always things that we could spot treat and want to spot reduce and add and whatever. I don't think you need anything that needs to be added. But when we're in a lineup of, being competitive and with the placing that you're at, you're next to a guy that arguably had the best arms in the lineup and he still beat you. No, I don't think it was.
I'm going to disagree with you again, because the lineup, yes. But again, talking to Bill, the main reason why Josh was in front of him was just because of the look and the shape of when that front shot is a dagger, the obliques. That's the difference. Yes, even Bill was like, bro, both of their arms were fucking big. We didn't know where to put them.
Hey, so Aaron, on top of that, even in the back pose, okay, you're going to have more of a V taper if you bring those arms down, because those shoulders are going to pop more, and it's going to draw your eyes more to your amazing back that you have. Plus, if you have those round delts up there and those arms get a little bit smaller, it's going to showcase exactly what we always look for. That streamlined physique is what we call it. Right now, the arms are a little bit big, so our eyes kind of tend to go to your arms, because a lot of us don't have arms like that, bro. Like, we're looking at those things like, damn, son, like, they're big. So
I don't think it's overpowering, to be honest with you.
Let me ask you something.
I'm gonna tell you, if you see Dan in person, it's insane.
I've seen Dan in person. I'm saying
I watched this show and I saw you come. I said, "Oh, like you look fucking good, right?" But then also in my head, I'm like, I know they told him to go to fucking classic because he has so much muscle. I wonder what his feedback is gonna be. And and again, that's why I'm saying you can't pump up. I don't know what you guys have to do to manipulate it, but you can't pump up, because once you start to pump up, bro, you have so much muscle. Like,
I was gonna say that. So
yes, you're brand new to this, but buddy, these genetics do things that we can't understand. I didn't know I was going to do what I did. They were telling me my shoulders were too big, so I had to downsize those. So the thing is, it's like you personally cannot pump up, my guy.
Alex, you have the same problem, don't you? You don't train your arms, right?
Yeah, I can't train my arms, but I don't got the same problem as Dan. That's the only muscle group I can't train.
It's funny because Tyler gave me my pro card. He gave me the overall too. And then almost within a year, I outgrew the division. So it's just like, I mean, and that was just being off of TRT. Like, so it's just like,
But you also got to understand who you're going against.
yeah,
It's never the fact of, oh, I got my pro card in front of Tyler. Well, that's the only thing Tyler saw in front of his face.
You
You see
know,
what I'm saying? So that's all he had to judge.
Now, I do have an interesting question for you guys. So obviously Dan has a bigger physique, right? And a lot of the guys that are in the top, let's just say 8, right, have pretty big physiques. Let's just say Dan gets his qualification, he starts lining up to these guys that are bigger guys. I mean, they are bigger. Do you think his physique will be rewarded in a lineup with those guys compared to some of the smaller guys that he may be going against on some of these other shows?
I think Dan
But you
will
got
come.
to understand when you say bigger guys, are you saying guys that are just bigger than him or guys who have the same amount of muscle as him?
I would say like Ed Vaughn, a Vitor, like those kind of. You don't think so?
They don't have
They
the
don't
same
have
muscle, Dan.
no, they
They
do
don't.
not have nowhere near the amount of muscle Dan has. And
Now,
as early and fresh Dan is into this league, it's fucking absurd to see this much muscle on him. Like
Dan,
it's crazy.
Dan, your muscle from last year to this year, I think you managed to keep pop in your physique. Well, don't get
yeah,
me wrong, you're still bigger, but you downsize. And I think
it's a
that
lot.
is what helped you stay in the conversation.
I
You know,
don't think
Right.
he downsized, Alex. I think he just brought up the other things that were throwing off the proportion to where it's more well-rounded and refined. Because I think his arms really flow with the physique. Now,
yeah.
when you say arms as a collective whole, the triceps from the back pose make the back even better with the shoulders. It all flows in. Now, I could see the biceps, but I still think, like, when I look at the physique, I think his arms are also longer too. So even if he downsizes them, there's still going to be something that you look at, but I don't think that they're out of proportion. Now, as far as the feedback, a lot of the feedback could be very vague. And, I've been told you need certain things to improve on when the winner of that show didn't have necessarily those things. So it's individualized. So to make his physique even better than it is, and I don't know how close he is to the weight cap, I'm pretty sure he's right at it. I think that you could refine and continue to refine even more of those things, but I do think it's a balanced physique, and that's why he jumped up so much.
I
Dan,
would
I mean,
be
I
interested to
got, I
see
got
what
us
you say.
193 this prep. 190
193.
weight cap was 202. So
Wow.
Damn.
I weighed in at, at 198.
Yeah,
What?
hollow bones. He has hollow bones, bro.
Yeah. And just
Wow.
like,
That's wild.
I need.
it's just like, just bone structure. Like, you could break me if you want. It's just like, I had tiny bones, but it's like, I can make weight.
But that goes to show
Genetics.
that's a lot of muscle.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's what they're judging. And that's what, when you hear these judges say, it's nothing against your physique. They love the fucking physique. Let me tell you that first and foremost. It's a lot, especially when it comes to men's physique.
So, Aaron, what would you do in his situation to prepare for the next show?
Bro, I'm going low carbs, bro. I can't push the muscle no more. And again, he's going to Chicago. Who's judging? Steve?
Yeah. So that could be good for him.
I think so.
And no, it's not. It's not going to be good for him.
See,
I'm with you, Alex.
I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm gonna tell you right now. Do not go full blown in front of Steve.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you right now.
But look
It's a
at-
lot of shit. It's a lot of different shit shaping up into this men's physique division that
I agree.
y'all don't even understand that's about to happen. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So I would
Well, don't just
definitely
say that. You got to tell us if
I
you
was
have
about
the
to say.
inside scoop.
Oh no. I can't expose stuff that's not even been
You don't
released.
gotta
So
mention names. Give us your opinion on what
I
you
can't
think is
even say
changing.
what it is. I'm telling him not to fucking pump up.
He's a gatekeeper.
He's telling you.
Do not pump up.
He's telling you indirectly.
What about the
So-
chest?
so-
Can I at least pump up my chest?
No.
Bro,
No, because
No.
then your triceps are going to be pumped, your shoulders are going to be
No.
pumped, your front delts.
no.
So with the amount of
Your
muscle
chest is
tissue
weak.
that you have on your frame, even if you come in flat, you still have enough tissue that is still going to be bubbly. So I think that
And that's
it's
the
going to
thing, you
look a
don't
lot better,
have
and you're
to.
going to get a pump as you pose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Hey,
where
I
you're gonna
respect
get
In front
the
of
natural-
Steve, you're going to be, trust me, like isometrics is a real workout, especially when you're, and honestly on stage, just, you're not overposing. You're not really hitting like your chest or your biceps. You're going to be flexing that core. And the core is the one thing in your physique that isn't as sharp as some of these other guys yet. And it can be a time thing, but it did improve from last year. So when you're posing it, you're probably going to get sharper in that area that isn't really at its maximum capacity yet. So the front and the back, I mean, you're just posing that core and flaring those lats, and the back pose we all know that you have. So just a matter of holding your poses, and Steve is going to judge it based on, you know, who's breaking and who's getting better as you go. So just keep practicing your posing. This is a show of all shows that you could win. This is a show that is going to be a big show on paper as well. On top of it, it's in front of Steve Weinberger, who's going to also see you at the Olympia. So this is a show that if you're going to qualify, this is the one to do it at. So make sure that all the boxes are checked as far as posing. And like Aaron said, I mean, he always knows some information that we don't know yet because, you know, he is a Mr. Olympia. So a lot of things are ran past the standard, you know, so there's going to be things that he's sharing. If he's telling you not to pump up, you know, don't do it. And you don't need to. You might have that itch and you look around and you might think guys are big, or I got to do this. It's in your head, bro.
Yeah. And this is the thing about that. Like, yeah, we want to get in front of Steve because, you know, they say Steve like bigger guys. But the thing is, bro, you already have so much muscle. You don't even want to pump up. You want to make sure you bring the streamlined look. And that's what's going to make that look better with the amount of muscle that you already have. You see what I'm saying? So I wouldn't necessarily go in front of Steve because next, huh?
Is that fly still attacking you?
Bro, this damn fly is on my damn nerves. I'm about to get a zapper in this bitch in a minute. But just like I said, man, getting in front of Steve, you still gotta have it all. And I think not having blaring muscle is gonna be a better look for you.
Dan,
it's gonna be a better streamlined look for you.
Wait, let me ask you a question, Banks, real quick. Now, obviously, when you don't get a pump, that blood isn't completely full and the skin is a little bit looser because the muscle isn't fully pushing against the skin. Do you think not getting a pump is going to make them look not as hard?
Hell no. Have you seen Dan's fucking check-in pictures?
Yeah, but still the vascularity, and when he's pumped up, it does get that freak factor. Do you think that he's placing where he is according to the last placement because of the freak factor as well? Because it's not just having muscle, it's where the muscle is on his frame.
I think the freak factor
is when he pumps up and that shit is just blaring full.
But he pumped up and still got second.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Third.
Hold on.
Or third place.
Okay.
I had him second.
Instead of us telling Dan what he should do, Dan, what is your game plan going into the Chicago Pro?
Right.
Like, how do you manipulate your physique in order to, you know, fix what the judges are telling you to do?
Yeah, so the goal is just pretty much coming up smaller, so no carbs pretty much, and just as small as possible. So getting down to like 193, 194.
So you were okay, so what were you again on stage?
No, I was 193, and then I carved up to 200 pounds. So this time just don't carb up, just stay at that weight.
That's a lot of fucking muscle.
Yeah.
So
if y'all not listening to it's a lot.
Hey, send the UPS to me. I need it.
Dan, what a lot of people don't know about you is you actually turned pro naturally, and you won the overall in front of Tyler Mannion naturally, right? And it was, I guess, from there, your body was so new to the sport at that time that it was, again, still maturing. And by the time you became a professional and you put a little bit of the super sauce in there, bro, everything woke up. It was like
the Ronnie Coleman effect. Ronnie Coleman was already a freak before he started, and then, you know, he had that response. So I think it's a very similar thing. But I know your body probably just wanted to blow up as a whole, but it's to fit the certain criteria. Because if you went to classic, it would still be size. You know what I'm saying? Because you have a weight cap. But staying in men's physique, you don't want to lose that proportion, and you don't necessarily need the size. So it's either you blow up and go to classic, or you kind of have to refine and even downsize to stay in men's physique. But the placement this past weekend shows that you belong in men's physique. So I wouldn't even consider classic until you start digressing, because you never really got your feet wet.
Yeah, even classic, it's just my insertion is just like, I have such bad leg insertions, like high calf insertions, high quad insertions. And if you look at the top guys in classic, it's just like you just have perfect insertion when it comes to legs.
Yeah, it's a lot of things you can't control, and that's something that, you know, I've talked to you about as well. You know, and it's the same thing with me and my leg injury. I'll never be able to go to classic because of my asymmetrical leg from scar tissue and just, you know, having surgeries. But I realize that. But your physique, people will say because of the size that you have that it is a classic physique, and those are a lot of people that don't understand.
Up, right?
No, I wasn't pumped up.
Looks way better.
That's what you have to bring.
Yep.
Nothing pumped up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is funny you say that. You don't see the
I'm
vascular
telling you,
stuff here. Yeah,
it has to be.
But the
You cannot
peak
pump
was
up.
down, so he's full. And he's only going to get pumped as he poses too. So I agree. Sometimes you need to have these pictures to see because I didn't see any of these. So now it gives me like some more insight because your conditioning was spot on, bro. Like
I
your
honestly think the
detail
way
came
he
in.
poses, he won't get as vascular as some of these other guys. The way a lot of these other guys tense a little bit whenever they
They
pose.
squeeze with the chest, like
Yes,
Mario Stewart, the way that he poses, and then going
Dan
in
doesn't do
between, and then
that.
they load up and like load up the back pose and stuff. It's like hitting a low row.
I think it'll benefit you, Dan, if you
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
pump up for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I'm ready. So just like I think Andre was saying this, if you're ready, you don't need to pump up, to be honest.
That's what he
So
used to do, his method. Yeah. So it makes sense,
yeah,
man.
so
It worked for him. I think your body type, it suits for you, and you're understanding that with your coach. So now you
Which is
know.
the same. Which is the same reason why after every meal, going into peak week and peaking on show day and the day before, Cuts is having us pose every
Yeah.
time after the meals because it's pushing the food.
yeah.
You don't need to pump up, my guy.
yeah, I got it.
You don't.
Dan, let me ask you about your board shorts.
Yeah, yeah.
We got we got to talk about it. You know,
Yeah,
I have the eye for it, so I
yeah.
have to know one what went into the decision. Obviously, you're sponsored by Dark Sport,
Mhm,
great
mhm.
company. But what went into decision of the board sport of the board shorts? Jesus.
So it
Board
was just
sports.
it, it was number one, just hiding my high quad insertions because as soon as those shorts are a little higher, because my insertion is so high, it makes my legs look smaller. So I was just like, you know what? I have to. It has to be just long enough to still show my size, but to the point it's not short enough to where
That
all you
makes
see is
sense.
bones, right? So one thing
Yeah.
I could have fixed is just obviously the waist, right? I
Okay.
could have just pulled the pants a little lower, and that would just be they were so tight. I can't even like pull them down. And my butt is so
Because
so
your
big.
legs, yeah.
Yeah, my butt is so big to the point where I can't even pull them down. So at this point, just like either have the band a little looser, so I had that wiggle room to just pull them down
Hey,
and
do
just
they
show.
not have like spandex on their shorts, or is it just like it's like basically fitted, right?
Yeah, it's pretty much fitted.
Yeah.
Like it's
Same
not.
as Chula, it doesn't
Yeah.
express. Yeah.
Really? Okay. Okay.
So
This time it's just fixing that, just having the band a little looser, so I can again pull my pants down, shoulders, waist a little better. But Bill didn't say anything too, so it's just like. But I do
Yeah, I
know that.
think what you should do, I mean, I know they don't do custom work, but I would definitely buy a size bigger and
Yeah,
then just get them tailored
Yep.
yeah,
Brandon,
where it's to where it showcases your obliques.
yeah, yeah. So
so
that's
Another thing is a seam on the side to where it's cut up a little bit higher because transitions, because you are peeled. You have shredded glutes, you have, your side quad, you have striations and stuff. Having that on the side a little bit, I mean, even for yourself for like a dope picture, I think that would be
right.
useful as well because you have the leg girth up top. It's just the high insertion. So it
Right.
will fit you high, but the thing is you don't want to expose that high insertion because if it gives the judges something else to be like, okay, that's a flaw, you don't want to risk being marked down for that. So I get what you're doing, but if you want to make it a little bit better as a whole, I'd even say like do something on the side seam. I think it would be
Okay.
dope for your quarter turn.
Yeah,
yeah,
that V shape.
listen, I think the lengthwise makes sense, and I figured that's what you were aiming for. Like you said, just the waistline here, because I know you might not have that upside down Dorito type of
Yeah,
waistline, but it
yeah.
doesn't mean that you're not wide enough up top to still have the manipulation at the waistline. Like,
So posing too, I can obviously angle my foot a little bit, maybe on a little bit in front, and just twist that hip, like wedge that hip to the side a little bit
Mhm.
more.
yep,
I think Aaron, again, I went up to Aaron this weekend, just like, hey, can you help me with posing? And he was just like, just shit that hip a little bit more. And, that's what I was trying to do on stage, but I kind of
And
forgot.
it looks so much more like it made your waist look so much
Yeah,
smaller.
yeah. But on stage, you just forget everything. You just like, you just go back to
Right.
it.
yeah.
So,
The
So,
um,
nerves, anxiety, all of it kicks in when you get on
yeah,
that damn
just
stage.
forget.
So we
But,
briefly talked about this, but I want to ask you again, Dan. You had a lot of emotion on stage, man, right? We talked about it going into the show.
yeah,
There was a lot of question marks, gray area.
yeah,
What's he meant physique? What's he classic physique? Does he have too much muscle? Not big enough legs. Like it was so many questions going into it. But
right,
then you got the first emotion I saw from you was when you got called out for first call out. So
yeah,
can you kind of
yeah,
explain like the emotion that we saw throughout the show, throughout the call outs, and then
right,
from,
right,
to that
right,
Play the
right.
clip as he talks about it, Alex.
Yeah,
Because I like seeing it. I like seeing the motion with you guys.
yeah.
I got you. But Dan, go ahead.
Yeah, so pretty much I was going to the show. I was like, you know what, I did my best. I just hope they don't say that, I'm still not meant physique because that was the main problem. Like even training was just kind of hard for me. It was like, why even try? Because I said I'm too big. And pretty much I dropped almost 40 pounds. And
Whew.
it was 30 people.
Bro,
So it,
you weren't even out of shape. Or like in your off season, 40 pounds.
Hyper responder.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
go ahead. Go ahead.
So I dropped 40 pounds. I was just like, I mean, this is the best I can do. Like, do I have to drop 50? And we did that, pretty much went back to being natural. So it was just like a lot of just, unknown. Like,
It's a crazy phrase.
so it was just like, I, I'm gonna do my best, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, just keep going. And then when I heard my name in that first call out, like I almost cried because I was just like, out of 30 people, like they want me in the first call out, and it just meant a lot to me. So
I
even though I
love
got hurt, it's it still meant a lot to me because backstage I was just like, wow, this is crazy, right? So it was just like,
did you get an adrenaline rush at all?
yeah, like I was charged up. Like when I heard my name, I went from like 0% to like 100% like in 2 seconds.
That's awesome,
And
bro.
I think that kind of helped me on stage because you see the emotion, just like I was like charged up.
Bro,
And
Yeah.
the one thing I noticed about you, you were relevantly for most of your transitions front and back, the first in, last out. Like
yeah,
it was very fluent. It was very quick front and back. You gave the judges exactly what they want to see, right? They don't like the flamboyant stuff, which we'll get into in a few. But you were very confident, bro. Your demeanor on stage, your presence, like you were a rock. Like
yeah,
you held your shots, and again, you stood out. All right.
That
Now,
impressed me. That impressed me the most, to be honest with you, because it is hard and you're not too, you're still a rookie, in my opinion. A
yeah,
rookie just isn't the first year. You're still new
yeah,
to this and you don't have much stage time. And all the time that you did have, it was upsetting. And it's hard to kind of, judge that because, your emotions were out of it because you're upset. So holding it down here and pretty much being in the center, you're the first one moved. And,
it's
in
funny
your
because
mind, it's like, listen, they're all being compared to me.
when I was going up to Bill, he was like, "Who are you again?" So I had to pull down my shorts. I was like, "I'm the guy with red shorts."
that's
So it was just
funny.
like, it's just getting in front of the judges. I feel like that's the most important aspect. So even after Chicago, I'm just gonna keep going, just to get in
Just keep
front.
showing up. That's
Yeah,
one
just
thing
keep
I'm
You're
gonna
showing
doing it
up.
the right way. You're doing it the right
keep
way. And
showing
that's why
up.
I'm happy
Don't
about it.
Yeah, so just keep showing
don't
up.
ever let no word, a comment, a judge, nobody, bro, dim your light,
Right.
discourage you. Because at the end of the day, your time is coming. They see your physique. You just gotta once you put it together, it's a wrap.
Yeah,
Because I
again,
mean, and this whole lineup, I mean, you have the most muscle, you have the best back on that stage. You
yeah,
like I said, once you put it together,
yeah. And
then
again,
you doing
yeah,
things.
all the top athletes, Ronnie Coleman, they went 5, 6 years without anything happening. Kobe, same thing. Jordan, same thing.
Mindset.
And then when they hit that Kobe year, it just boom, 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 boom. Afterwards, it just hit. So I'm definitely still trying to find my Kobe moment. And if it does happen, it happens. And I'm just definitely gonna take
It's
advantage
not
of it.
if, it's when. And like I
Right.
said, this show this weekend,
It's
we
when.
all do our predictions and there's favorites on list. And I think after this showing, anybody that's doing this show, they know who the guy to beat is there, and it is you. So I
Yeah.
know, don't let it get to your head. You're not the type of guy that will let it, but just know that a lot of people are gunning for that spot. They want the O qualification. And
Right.
if somebody is gonna, pull that ticket out, it's you're my favorite to win that show ultimately, just because you did everything that was asked of you. You took the time off and you didn't do what you wanted. You
Right.
ultimately did what the judges was telling you so you can
Exactly.
improve and be your best. So like I
Exactly.
said, I had you second place. We didn't really cover Josh. Josh has, a very consistent look that he keeps bringing in. He's also a veteran that's been doing this for a while, and he's beaten a lot of reputable guys in the sport. And for you to move up and be next to some of these guys that are top guys that are seasoned, and you just coming out of the season showing that those improvements, that's the biggest thing that these judges want to see. So I mean, like I said, this is a win for you without being a win, because it's the highest that you've placed as a pro. So I want to congratulate you on that.
Totally appreciate it.
Dan,
Appreciate it.
before I let you go, brother, I have two
Right.
questions. All right.
Right.
I have two questions. I know you're
And please answer it right.
I don't now. I
I'll
think
try.
we might
I'll
have
try.
three questions now because I don't know where he's
Now
going.
you got three.
But first question is, you're pretty open about this on your broadcast channel and your
Yeah,
Instagram. So I'm not sure if
yeah,
you're comfortable sharing with it now. You don't have to share
of course, of course, of
exact
course.
dosages, but what are you running right now? Because I don't think people see your physique and actually correlate that with the real truth of what you
Yeah,
are running.
Don't do this. Disclaimer: you won't look like him even if you take twice as what he's taken, because just don't do it. But anyways,
yeah. So I'll pretty much start from the start. So when I pretty much went from natural, I turned pro. I was like, okay, I gotta hang with big boys. I think my first cycle was like 200 mgs for a year, and I think I did that with Alex, and we grew like, I mean, I added like 10 pounds of muscle. So I went from like 180 to like 230 in one season.
Bro, I'll
Um,
never forget the check-in when I realized how fast he was growing. I'm sitting there
I
like,
lose muscle on that dose.
bro.
and then that's when last year happened, where I kind of blew up off of just posting a video of my back double bicep, and that was just me all on just 200 milligrams of test, and then obviously we kind of increased the dosage a little, so I went from like 200 to 300 to like maybe 600,
Hmm.
and afterwards obviously that's when the size was a problem. Pretty much went back to being natural, so obviously TRT back to 200, so it was pretty much 200
Are you never
milligrams.
taking trend?
Um, No, we didn't.
Or
So this prep, no, no trend. The only thing I was obviously taking was fat burners just to lose that body fat,
yeah.
but nothing extreme. It's just like I'm just a person that just grows, unfortunately. And again, when it comes down to it, bodybuilding, it's the price of business, right? And if I can get away with just using TRT, I mean that's a plus to me
Bro,
because
that's huge.
uh,
That's huge.
Yeah,
Like,
and
it's
any
just
peptides? Any type of peptides or no?
no peptides.
Okay.
Just to get
imagine if he ran growth like Serostim, 2 IU a day.
no, that's the definition of
No, imagine,
Oh,
imagine though,
16 IU,
your
baby.
muscle
Let's go
cells,
big.
your muscle. Well, 16 IU would be like 7 grand a month.
My boy going straight from men's physique to open
Open,
in
baby.
here.
I was taking GH for fat burners, so that you can use GH for as a fat burning effect to lose body fat. So I was taking two IUs, two to
okay. I
three
was,
IUs.
I was gonna say probably two I use then, right?
Yeah,
What was
so
like genotropin? Like what?
yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah. So
so
like the
generic. Okay,
Yeah.
so
Aaron, I'm curious. What was your question now?
Where you put that syrup at?
I know. As I figured.
How do we not think, bro? What is up with us? We haven't asked that question since
Oh,
Chris.
tripping.
Yeah.
so
Where you put that syrup
I don't
at?
use syrup to be honest. Like I'm like a plain person. Like I don't use any sweeteners. Like
You like Ali
unfortunately,
Bilal? We got another Ali Bilal here.
Just like when you grew up, and if you had pancake, like where would your
yeah.
family put it? Like where would you
I
put it
mean,
if I
so
gave it to you?
I grew up African, like so I grew up in Nigeria, so we didn't really have syrup. So yeah, mostly
Oh,
rice
he
and
was on
chicken.
our side first.
All right, now let's say if you just did being here and I gifted you some syrup, where would you put it?
He's gonna
I mean,
give you
I'll
some.
probably put it like it's not gonna be in the fridge. I'm sorry, but it's gonna be like
He's watched this. It ain't fair.
I thought he was
uh,
gentrified for a second, bro. I got nervous.
Yeah.
Got nervous.
Wait, hold
uh,
up.
There's so many
uh,
stipulations I had to play with. They're like, we don't have it. We don't like Ali. He said he don't even use it. I'm like,
I was like, I
listen,
don't
if
need
you did,
syrup.
if you did.
They don't got Aunt Jemima in Afghanistan, bro. What are you thinking?
Oh
I
man.
just feel like it's the way you grew up. Like I obviously grew up in Africa. Like there was barely any lights, so it was just like rice and chicken most of the time, and just so it's just definitely where I grew up. Like
That's
even
the
like
secret.
after the show, like after this weekend, I have rice and chicken. Like I wasn't craving any burgers or anything. I just had a bunch of rice and chicken. I was like, I'm fine.
Well, you
So,
can't, because if you had anything else, you'd probably be 230.
yeah, yeah, blow up.
Brother, listen,
Uh,
I know I've had you on here for a little bit. I just want to take a quick second. I've known you for a while. I've had the
yeah,
opportunity again to see you grow. I'm extremely proud of how much
yeah.
you've grown and taken
Yeah.
not only,
Alex just saw me like grow from like a baby to like pretty much.
bro, he was eating
It,
two meals. He was eating two meals when I saw him. Like when I started
yeah,
coaching, he was eating
it was
two meals.
crazy,
It's just
crazy.
it's funny to see where he is at now. And I know you went through a lot of ups and downs throughout, and you're going to continue to go through ups and downs
Yeah,
throughout,
yeah.
just
It's
like
life. It's
every
life.
single one of us on here, right?
It's life.
Exactly. Just like life. Bodybuilding is a metaphor for life, damn near. But
Yeah.
again,
Yes.
man, just one piece of advice I've always gotten, or the best piece of advice I've gotten from Andre Ferguson: don't let the highs get too high, don't let the lows get too low. Ride the midline,
Yeah.
brother. You're on a
I
high
understand.
right now. You have a high right now. I'm sure there's expectations going into the next show. Drew, we have somebody here who made a statement and can celebrate the Chicago Pro. And just on the flip side, you have somebody who that was my lowest moment, right? So there's a perfect opportunity for someone else's high, my low, ride the midline, brother. No matter what
Yeah,
happens, the
yeah,
show. Right? A lot of
yeah.
eyes are on you, but keep it together. All right,
You know,
man.
This is your show. It's your
yeah,
show. So you go show them and remind them why. And when you're on stage, remind yourself of that whole year that you took off to where you were questioning yourself and the criticism and everything that was going on, because this is a case to where the criticism ultimately helped you. And I've been criticized my whole career. I still get criticized for my back. You're always going to get criticized as well. But the champion mindset before you ever achieve status comes from how you take those losses, because we're not always going to win like Aaron Banks. You know what I mean? We're not always going to be in that top three. He's a guy that's never been out of it, but for the most part, we're all human and we're out of them. So,
yeah.
going from a sixth place to first, remind them, show them on stage and physically, represent and show what you've been through in that past year, and let that all, eat you inside to where you could show it and add to that confidence and hold those poses in center.
So it's cool.
I'm
And I just
ordering
say,
Go ahead.
thank you guys so much. Because again, I watched the episode. Like I like watching my videos on 2 times speed. So of course, obviously the videos an hour, I can finish them in 30 minutes. And the insight you guys just give, especially Drew, he just breaks it down like perfectly. It's crazy how much insight you have. So definitely big ups on that. Just you break it down the physique and just giving your knowledge behind the physique. Of course, Alex, your leadership skills are just crazy. How you're able to just manage so many businesses and still show up. It's just again extremely motivating. And of course, Aaron, thanks to champ. Just you bring something different to the league, and just being yourself. It just shows you it's okay to be yourself. You don't have to be the typical, champ where everything's perfect. So
Right.
truly, truly appreciate you guys. So,
And Chris, man, thank you so much.
And Chris, the Masters guy.
Chris, Chris, forget about Chris. Chris.
Almost getting canceled once a week.
Oh man.
Somebody who
I'm always on the hot seat, baby.
Chris, of course, Chris.
We're proud of you, brother. We appreciate you, and we're excited
Appreciate
to see what you do, not
Yes,
only
sir.
this weekend and moving forward. All right, brother. Talk to you soon.
Appreciate you. All right,
See you
guys.
in October.
All right. Appreciate it.
All right, bro.
All
Yes,
right,
sir.
Drew, let's run through the top two. I want to make sure we give them their just due.
I know we didn't talk about it, but I was impressed with Dan's look, and like when we had this conversation many times, bro, there was never an issue with me or Dan. The things I addressed, I think it got misconstrued with Instagram and stuff. Like he knows he doesn't have the best legs. He knows it's the insertion point. It's not necessarily the size insertion point. But him actually making the decision to stay in men's physique, even though the odds were against him when Tyler Mannion told him he wasn't men's physique, he took that and then focused on what he had to do in order to come in and, hold his own in the lineup to where he did beat, Stan's an Olympian. He beat Ismail. Like these are guys that, they're not top Olympians, but they are guys that are reputable to kind of add to a resume, especially first year being in a first call out.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Dan's a good guy, man. Like we said, I think
Really is.
a lot of people spoke for Dan, and I think people just made an assumption off of who he may have been, because he's not a guy who speaks, man. He's a quiet guy. So having him on here, giving an opportunity for people to see his personality, I think was a massive one. He's a good man.
Yeah.
All right.
And he shows it by being humbled and coming back and like kind of showing it. So seeing that excitement on stage when he was shaking his head, like it gave me chills, man. Like I live through a lot of these guys on stage when I'm not on stage. I don't know how you guys look at it, but these shows aren't about me. I'm a fan. Like when I'm not competing in a show, I could go there and watch it. I don't want to talk about myself. I don't need to tell people what I am, what I do, where I am, what I place. Like I go there to sit down and watch it, not compare myself to them. I get excited. It's like watching a UFC fight to me, especially knowing these guys up close and personal. And seeing their journeys. It's exciting.
You're like even more invested,
Yeah, it's better because I'm not tanned. I'm just showing up to the show. Like, I just drove in with my girl or something, like Universe, for example. I'm sitting there and I'm watching. It's fun,
Great time.
I don't got to shower after. I don't got to get that tan off. I don't got to rush around and be there,
So I do want to quickly show love. Josh Guidry finishing second. That was a really close battle. It was a 1-point decision. I thought the only reason they would have moved him over Dan was because of that taper that he does have compared to Dan. So Aaron did confirm that. But listen, the one thing about Josh, I say this often, ever since he teamed up with Cuts, I feel like he controls his variables significantly better. His conditioning is night and day better. He's not sweating on stage like he used to. He actually flat to a few shows in the past. He's not coming in flat anymore. I think he probably damn near should come in a little flatter, if anything, but he is nailing his peak. His physique is more consistent than it's ever been, and his ceiling has risen. And he's still one of those guys, man. He's very similar to Mario Stewart, Stan. He's always been in those top five at shows, and I know he's going to get it sooner than later, man. Like he has the great coach behind him, and again, from his physique in itself, he's very balanced. It's just he's almost too much for the
I
division.
was going to say, Alex, I think the number one problem I think he would run into if he tried to come in flat is he kind of has abs like me where they're very
Yeah,
they're not as dug out,
Hey,
they're flat. So if he comes in flat, the abs are not going to be as detailed as he's going to want them to be. So if like in his progression season, I think he should honestly do weighted abs because that's exactly what I'm going to have to do to bring mine up. And then once he builds those abs to be a little bit more blocky, then he can come in at that flatter like you're talking about. And I think he's going to look really freaking good after that. So you're right on that point, but I think he can't do it right now just because they're just a little bit on the smaller side.
yeah, I agree. I think this is the best his midsection has ever looked.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
I think
Oh yeah.
his torso in itself looked amazing. The only thing is his arms. Like his
Yep.
arms.
And look at how big his chest is. His chest is full
Exactly.
blown out. That looks really good. So
I actually think these are the biggest arms in men's physique. Like they're fucking ginormous. And literally it's one muscle group holding him back. That's it. Like he has a good enough back to be in these conversations, right? A little bit more density, but generally,
well, I'd say the abs hold him back as well.
yes,
yep.
but I still think these abs, they're not like a
They
strong.
could be good enough. And if his arms are
Yeah.
smaller, it would show his taper a little bit more with the lats because it's like his bicep hides half of his. Look at
Yes.
Steven, how it's
Yeah.
like open, you know?
Good point. Good point. And then one thing that I love Josh. One thing he needs to fix though, he has a bad tendency of moving his hands in his front shot. It's like he never looks comfortable, right? That's the only thing. That's you can see it here. They're opened up a little bit and they have this motion that they're always fidgety, right? I always say as athletes on stage, confidence, close your hands and be a fucking statue. It was very obvious that Dan was doing that, right? So I think that was hurting. Maybe it could hurt him in a lineup where it's so close. But
The way he
That's
posed
something-
was impressive, bro. As far as a guy that hasn't had stage time and hasn't competed all year, he's the first person that I remember posing to where he never moved that really, really made me feel like I was in awe was Daniel Ammons. He
Really?
would not fucking move. Like no matter if people were moving in front, but that was my first experience. There's a lot of guys that done it before. I know Banks does it, Benquil does it. Like they're just not, they're locked in and they just make it look effortless and you can't find a bad angle of them because they never moved. Like, but when I was on stage with Daniel reviewing footage of myself, Optimum in 2020, like the dude doesn't move. So I noticed that with Dan too. Like he was just kind of shaking his head because he was excited, but you know, he's probably on that cloud nine, like probably numb, you know, when you got the chills and they don't go away because you're like, holy shit, it's happening. This is what I work for. But yeah, I was impressed with him because a lot of these guys that, you know, have that stage presence and awareness, they've been doing this for a long time where they've done multiple shows. This is his first one of the season.
Hey, I have one more question on that last slide, Alex. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. Well, anyways, whenever you go back to it, but this is actually a question for Aaron and Drew because I know you're going to be biased as hell, Alex, on this. But the board shorts being white on stage, do you think that takes away from somebody's waistline compared to a black or a darker color?
Yes.
Okay.
My experience exactly. I stopped wearing white. I had it before.
But in this case, he was going between two different colors, and the white actually looked way better on his waist than the darker color.
I was going to say this with this backdrop, I think this is the best I've seen a white board short look because it doesn't clash with the background. It's almost opposite. So you can
and
actually
it pops too. It pops too. Yeah. It's like
so
a
I was just
opposite
wanting to get your
colorway.
opinion on it.
I agree. On average, it does without a doubt. But I'm like just looking at his waistline here, it doesn't make me think that it's like his legs look small. Like compared to this lineup, it actually looks small. One of the smallest waists in this lineup.
Yep.
So
I was talking about that with a couple of athletes a couple of days ago, and it was kind of mixed reviews on that. So that's
still a risk. Still a risk in me personally. I wore white board shorts at the Olympia in 23. And the band, as long they could be white, but the band I always emphasize making black because the backdrop for the Olympia was kind of like a really light blue and it blended in. It made it look washed. And it's not that it made my waist look bigger. My waist still looks small. Like Josh's waist looks small here. But I think if they were black, it still would just make it look smaller. I feel like black is always going to make something look smart. It does look good on him, though. It's not as bad as some other people, but you never know what the backdrop's going to be, especially when it's one of those grids that plays shit on it. So the color is always changing, but it does look good. And I was actually surprised as well with the stage lighting as well.
Yeah, I agree. All of Manifest shorts now have a darker waistband ever since our first drop. It's gotten that feedback. So
I love those shorts. They look great.
Yeah, they're gray, like they're gray, blue, and white, so a little different. But this was the best version of Stephen Cow that I have ever seen by a mile.
The fucking best,
Absolutely.
bro.
My God,
I ain't never seen Steve waist like that. I ain't never seen his fucking obliques like that. Me and Cuz we're posing them. We're looking at him like,
oh,
bro, this is the best you. And he started to pose, and I knew he was on because he was saying Steven's about to come pose him real quick. So he walks down. He's like, bro, I'm gonna tell you now, this is the best Steven you've ever seen. So this motherfucker took his shirt off and started posing. I said, this ain't no way. I ain't never seen Steven waist that small. One, bro, I'm talking about peeled.
Yo, that's what everyone told me. He was peeled. He said
he was. That shit looked crazy. As soon as he stepped out, I was like, oh, he's on.
It reminded me a lot of his Chicago Pro look when he won in 2020.
Yeah,
it was the closest thing to that. This was his best look because he definitely has more density.
So much more improved this show.
It was improved, but even what's crazy in this lineup, even talking to Bill, he had the flattest chest on the stage.
He did.
He's always going to, though, because of his genetic makeup and how it was.
Yeah. So, and that's just, from just the overall package. And I know people were pushing for Dan to beat him and all this other stuff. But the thing is, and again, talking to Bill, it's always going to go back to a structure thing. Steven had the best structure out of this lineup. Yeah, you can say Mario did, but Mario just didn't have them obliques, that waist, and his back was.
Your eyes were just drawn to him.
The best back I've seen on Steven in a while.
I just think all around best to him. Like I think this is me again. Since I don't have it, I always look for it. But conditioning wise, like this is detail separation was just such a noticeable difference. To me, it was looking like, listen, I'll say this, Josh Guidry is fucking peeled, right? This is the difference between conditioning and detail, right? Like I think
yes.
Like you can see the detail ripping through here, right? Same thing with Dan. Dan is fucking peeled. If you ever seen Dan in person, it's disgusting how lean he is. But then it's like it's like the detail that pops through, right? Mario Stewart needs more detail. He's conditioned, and we've seen it in the lineup. Just needs more separation and detail. This motherfucker right here is peeled. Like he's more conditioned than he is detailed, right? So for people to understand it, this right here, Drew explained this perfectly. This is what flat looks like. Like he has a lot of muscle, so he can sacrifice.
I get telling the pecs specifically. Everybody has their muscle group that they'll notice that other things could stay full, but you could notice it. Mine is my back. It flattens out the most. Alex, I'm not sure what it is on you, Banks. You're always told about your chest, so maybe it's the chest. I'm not too sure. But everybody has their muscle group, and it specifically looks like even with the arms and the chest, because he's very arm and chest dominant. And it usually looks like a boxer glove, full chest, kind of like how Josh and Dan's looks, and he doesn't have that in comparison. But he has the muscle bellies of it. It just looks like it's kind of deflated a little bit.
Yep. All right. So speaking of this show, Aaron has been telling us behind the scenes that something was going to be said. I'm sure there's even more going to be said, but I do want to play this video. I think Aaron posted.
I think everyone saw what happened in the last few weeks, and a couple divisions. We have bikini here. We have wellness here. We have men's physique here. We do not have classic physique here. Men's physique, guys, you are more than welcome to put on classic physique poses. If you want to hit front double biceps, back double biceps, hands overhead abdomens, you are men's physique pros. We want to see men's physique poses. We do not want to see bodybuilding or classic physique poses.
And you get the gist. It goes on a little bit longer, expressing those thoughts.
And that's the thing, man. And
you're there in person. Can you give us a little bit?
I've been an advocate for this as soon as I saw the bullshit, and I've gotten backlash on it. And I'm like, it's not professional. And they saying, oh, Where's it say this in the book? And where's it say that in the book?
Roll
Oh, well,
9, NBC News Online.
you know, but that's the thing. People don't want to look and they just want to, say, oh, it's just a gray area. It's not a gray area, bro. It clearly says bodybuilding poses. It does not say dancing. It does not say ab and thigh. It don't say back double bicep. Oh, well, you do a back double bicep. I do a transition back double bicep. Ryan Terry does a
You're not
transition back.
hitting the pose. You're going
We're
into
not
it
hitting
from a
the pose.
previous. Yeah.
So the thing is, it's like like I said, being an advocate, I messaged Tyler. I've been talking to Bill about it. There will be a crackdown on the criteria 100%. It's just not going to be allowed anymore. So again, going forward, which is what I posted on that post, is I'm giving y'all the warning now because when you guys start going to do these other shows and you're going to be left out and yeah, you may look good. They don't give a damn who you are. Me, Brandon, Ryan, they don't care. They're going to start docking us. And that goes back to this same very show, which
They already are too.
there was an athlete named Brandon who literally was 12 minutes late. 12 minutes late. Didn't hear Bill at all. He didn't hear that. He did not hear that. Brandon looked good. He peaked. He was full. He looked nice. He was a taller guy. Presentation, call outs, confirmation. He's hitting ab and thighs, trying to show his ab, and same for the presentation. So even after the show, somebody hey, come outside, talk to Brandon. I'm like, Brandon, what happened? I mean, of course he upset. He got third call outs. He got dead last. Dead
But
last.
he got first at St. Pete, so he was definitely bummed. Yeah.
He got dead last. You see what I'm saying? So, when when people think I'm playing and people think I'm just talking because they may not think I know what the hell I'm talking about, trust me, I know a whole lot that you guys just do not know. So I would definitely start listening and paying attention to what the criteria is what's about to happen, especially going into this year's Olympia.
I think
Especially going into
I mean,
this
you're
year's Olympia.
obviously taking your own words into account because I saw in that one post that you said you're going to even watch your posing in the transitions that you were doing because they're
Oh,
crackdown.
absolutely. You won't see a back double bicep from Aaron Banks. Not
Yeah.
this year.
Yeah.
Not this year. You won't. I
Especially
mean,
The standard.
I have to start to maneuver and figure out ways to showcase my back because my back is my bread and butter. And I only hit that because one, I saw Ryan do it. And I know my back is way better than Brian's. So that's why I added that transition into it to give that same effect. But now when you take it to fucking dancing and doing all this other dumb shit,
And
bro,
that's a perfect example of what you just said.
ruined it.
It's a perfect example of what you said about a week or two ago is that these people will see something and they'll push the limits, and it's going to keep getting worse and worse. So this is a perfect time for them to stop the bullshit and get it back to what it was because it's just going to continue to snowball down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so and talking to Bill is like there's not gonna be any more gray area because people don't know how to use the gray area. They're
It
gonna
also
take it
needed to be addressed as well.
absolutely,
That's the
absolutely.
main thing.
So
And
yeah,
it's not the judge's thing to do, even though they're going to say it sometimes behind the scenes. The promoters need to step up. And then the number one thing that people will say to me is, well, why does it affect you? Well, for one, I'm a professional in the sport and I stand up for the sport and what I believe in and what I think is right, especially when there's rules, right? Now,
right.
it doesn't just affect me. When other people see it, it takes one person to start a trend. They think that it's okay. It continues to go on until it makes it a mockery. You sign up for a specific job or you go to work and do you just go to work and do whatever you want? No. If you don't do what the job description is required, what happens? You either get written up or you get fired. The same thing applies here. Just because you pay for a fee doesn't mean you go to that show and you just you know it's a free for all. Like next thing you know, people are going to be whipping their dicks out on stage and it's entertaining. No, it's unacceptable. It's not professional. And it is number 9 in the rule book on NPC News Online, if anybody wants to know. But it's just like anything. People are always going to argue, about, and it's not an opinion. It's an objective fact. You can't argue about it. 1 + 1 = 2. I don't need to be a mathematician to fucking say so. A lot of people need to get with the program and understand that, yeah, it doesn't just bother me, but it bothers the competitors on stage, sharing the stage next to a guy who's not doing what he's supposed to. And not only that, they don't even look like they work out. So it doesn't doesn't matter what they've been through in life or what's going on. That doesn't matter. They don't ask you that before you go on stage. What's going on in life? You register and you sign a contract. That's the terms and conditions. You go on, you present a physique, and you don't do what you want, because that's not the integrity of bodybuilding. You don't just go on and dance and exactly.
But that's even just to hit on what you're saying, bro. Like, and what really bothers me are the people who saying, "Oh, it's entertaining," who are people who maybe are video recording it or
Yeah, but that doesn't make it acceptable.
and I'm like, I don't give a fuck how entertaining it is. Oh, let them just do it. No, bullshit. That is not how a professional sport is ran. That's just like me telling a cameraman, oh, tell your camera crew to fucking point the shit at somebody else when they supposed to be locked in on fucking number 96. Oh, it's entertaining that somebody over there is fucking picking up trash and I want to record that. Bro, you can't do that. It don't make sense.
Same with NFL.
Antonio Brown going off the stage, that was hella entertaining, but he ain't in the NFL anymore after that.
No.
Celebration in the end zone.
And what's crazy, which y'all don't probably even know, there was another dancer at this show, but it was not highlighted at all.
They shouldn't. It's free promotion. I don't know if some of these guys do it to get the attention, because if you look at some of these posts that are, everybody's agreeing and saying, well, it's actually split. It's kind of like politics. No matter what somebody stands for, there's people out there that think Hitler did a great fucking thing. Just because somebody does a great thing, or you think in your opinion, doesn't make it great, because there is policy and there are rules with things. And that's why you need to follow them. It's not that it affects me. If it wasn't against the rules, it wouldn't affect me. I'm in this sport and I am a professional, and I'm going to make sure that all my clients know what they're doing and getting into before they go on stage. You can't just let this shit keep happening. Like, keep that for all these other sports. I never wanted this to be a part of my sport, because now people are making a mockery of it, and it's just embarrassing. It shouldn't happen.
Aaron, you said something that made a lot of sense. Men's physique is looked at, I say, as a redheaded stepchild. It's already looked down upon within the division. And you're 100% right. I think even though there could be an argument for entertainment, there's still an opportunity for people to look at that from a distance and associate that simply with men's physique because they're wearing board shorts. So because of that, you're right. It does paint men's physique in a negative light. And when you look at it from that perspective, and more specifically in the professional perspective, this is a professional league, that's where things start to get not as gray as some people try to make it out to be, right? So I think you're 100% right with that. And I do think that the judges, as well as the front office, they need to be more educational with what needs to be done, because the gray area, even within the rules, I still think there is gray. And I think that now that things are happening, they need to respond to it so it doesn't happen again. And we've seen it this past weekend with Classic Physique. Like, if anything, Classic Physique is now doing crazier shit. Open bodybuilders guys are doing some crazy shit on stage too.
But let me just be so for Classic Physique, yes, you can perform. Yes, you can use art posing, but all the dumb shit and like that shit is dumb. That is not in the rule book at all. Performing art, like bringing artistry to the stage, that is something totally different. Just because fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger went to go do ballerina, did you see this motherfucker doing all this shit? No, you didn't. He fucking wrote that shit in his physique and made it look good.
Hey, you better clip that and put that on the Instagram.
Shut the fuck up. Shut your ass up.
Aaron takes on ballerina, professional career.
Like, this should have been stopped and immediately disqualified. First of all, he doesn't have a physique. I don't care if somebody lost weight or they're going through their darkest battles or had cancer or whatever. And I hate to sound harsh, but a lot of people use that as an excuse. It's not. We don't know. For all I see, it looks like a guy drunk at 3 a.m. doing in-bar karaoke. It's absolutely ridiculous on a bodybuilding stage. And the fact that they allowed this to go on and him even mouthing the words like suck my dick or something and pointing to his crotch, it's unacceptable.
Wait, is that what he did?
Absolutely. Well, there was a verse in the song to where it referred to like my something, and he pointed to his dick and then pointed to the crowd. Like, and then people want to defend it, and it's absolutely delusional. If you find that entertaining, then you're not a fan of bodybuilding. Now, let me just go over this before I let you guys eat this one up. Rule number 9 of the official NBC News Online page division. 9, competitors are prohibited from presenting themselves in any sort of vulgar, obscene, profane, incidental, lewd, vicious, repugnant, shocking, offensive manner as determined by the event promoter and or more of the event judges in their sole absolute discretion. So does that represent any of the words that I just described? Vulgar, obscene, profane, lewd? It's all of those things. You know, it's not posing. He's hitting a few poses and that's it. And he's mouthing words and it's profanity. And this isn't bodybuilding, guys. And he doesn't have the physique.
I think there needs to be a standard of a physique that is.
But again, it goes back to say, like, where's the clip at? Or read the comments on some of the people who are actually competing in the league and people who are recording this, like, oh, this is cool.
Ali is crazy.
It's not cool.
Like I said, there's always somebody that's going to find something positive to say about this. But here's the thing. People will talk positive about this guy, but will talk shit about the top guys in the world, such as myself, who has no back, and they want to ridicule me, but they won't ridicule this. You get what I'm saying? It's kind of ironic, right?
I'm very surprised that Nick Walker came out and was like, who gives a fuck? And
bro, he can leave that political shit to himself.
Yeah. I ain't covering
that. People are
going
to keep doing it because they're getting this response right here. They're getting on the internet and they're getting I can't talk today, but they're getting views off of it, and that makes them happy. So you're going to see
indirectly promoting it. Yeah.
Exactly, man. So they need to just stop posting this stuff and leave it alone.
Yeah, but they're not. They're not.
You see who's posting it.
Because you got guys like Alex Toplin that go on there and go, keep this energy up, bro. I love it. Look at those manifest shorts.
Hey, Alex, instead of sending him some manifest shorts since he's in bodybuilding or classes, you should send him a helmet.
That's crazy.
No, you should, because this guy doesn't look like, dude, this is not normal behavior. This isn't, if you think entertaining, it's like kind of, clapping for the special needs kid that goes on stage and does something. That's different. This guy doesn't have that sort of problem.
Okay.
This is absolutely ridiculous. Like when you see somebody that shouldn't be doing something because of, whatever sort of, problem they have. My niece is autistic, right? There's certain things that she can't do. So of course we're going to be like, okay, we're going to give her some sort of, we're going to applaud her for certain things. Maybe if she doesn't even do it good, like we still do it. Now, this behavior shouldn't be accepted by this guy being on stage. He clearly got on stage to do this, whatever this is. And this to me, this really pisses me off, because then people want to defend it, and I'm part of this league, man.
This comment says speaks volumes. I'd be embarrassed if I took someone to a bodybuilding show for the first time and this behavior was allowed. You couldn't pay me to go watch this act. Mm-hmm. Said it perfectly.
I feel uncomfortable and cringe rewatching the clips.
All right, let's move on. I think we're all on the same page there. I do want to ask you a question, Drew. I think this one is a little closer. Who thinks going to win, Bhuwan or Deke?
Deke Walker?
Mm-hmm.
Bhuwan.
Where?
Bhuwan's with the best coach on planet Earth, and Bhuwan has a better structure. Now, Deke does have the mystery box Mario fucking magic mushroom. We don't know what's going to come out of the box if he hits it. Is he going to have the Miami condition or not? Now, seeing the shows since Miami, he hasn't nailed it since. So the odds with me, and I'm basing things off of, okay, if I'm going to base it on the past, he hasn't hit it yet.
I think is this Colombia?
I
thought he was doing Chicago.
I'm so confused. Like after the podcast, he was supposed to do Texas. He wasn't. Drew or Aaron, why you got that smile on your face?
We got to get him back on, bro, because now we got to clarify.
They are not.
Hey, I do have something to say on this though. The one thing
I'm not happy about that.
No, that's fine. That's fine. The Indian guys can be mad about what I'm about to say, but
no, he's talking. What about the show? Was it a decision that they made, Aaron?
No, for him to say that he was doing it, talk about he was doing it, act like he was doing it, and then to not do it, I'll tell you right now,
they're gonna boycott his ass, bro. They're gonna impeach him from the Prince of India seat.
So I'm gonna tell you right now, if you're a professional athlete, right, and you talk all this big shit, not talking about Bhuwan at all, but just
I know what you're talking about
at all. If you gonna talk some hot shit and then you talk about you finna do this show, and then you don't do the show, and then you show up to the show. You'll see. You'll
I have
see.
one thing to
The
say on
league
this.
did not fucking play with that, bro. And it's been addressed 2 years ago. When you do not show up to a show that you're talking about you doing, and you telling the promoters and you telling everybody that you're doing it.
Do you think he put himself in this spot for you remember whenever he was talking about on the podcast last week that he wants to stick to a weight. He has a goal weight in his mind of 212, and because of that,
I think that's
he's putting cuts in the box to where he's in his own head right now of I want to be this on stage, but the look may be 198 pounds that he needs to be, or 202. Is that putting him in this mental spot of, hey, I'm not going to do this show because I'm not how I look, but I also want to be 212 pounds on stage?
He's having the weight dictate his mindset. Yes. I think it's a flaw.
Telling you that that's one thing that he's saying. I don't give a fuck what Bhuwan say. Cuts is bringing him in at whatever Cuts thinks he's going to come in.
I don't agree with. I get what I 100% agree with you're coming from, but there's situations where clients put coaches in boxes by saying, "I will not step on stage," or "We are aiming for this weight." Aaron, imagine if you.
Well, let me tell you this.
Well, Aaron did say he wanted to max out his weight cap, and he did it.
But I'm gonna tell you right now, Cuts has also dropped 2 athletes for thinking they know what the fuck they talking about. So
hey, I was on the phone with someone.
Trust me, bro.
True.
Trust me.
I was on the phone with somebody last night.
Gotta be coachable.
And I talked exactly about this because we were talking about the concern of him not showing up. And that person, like I said, that is very, very close to him in his career, said the same thing, that he thinks that he was put in a box and he was put in a weird predicament, and that's why he didn't show up. So that's just my opinion there. I think Alex, we talked about as well, but yeah. I really do hope he shows up to this next one. I think he could look very, very good. He is maxed out, but I think he's going to need to be like 202 to show up on his best potential.
People don't understand when you're peeled how big you will actually appear on stage. So for me being 202, and I get this all the time when I'm at events in person and even at the gym, the first time I hit my low day after 7 low days, I was 199. It was my lowest. And even going into Toronto, even Chris said, like, the amount of size and tissue and the stage size that I had in comparison to all these other guys, and they were big too. People don't understand, like me being 199, they think I'm like 230, 220. Mm-hmm. You know, it's the illusion that it gives, especially when you're shirtless and you have all the fullness and you have the vascularity, you know. So him getting down that 13 pounds, let's say if it was needed, because I still think that his obliques and the detail and just the grittiness would come out when you not just dropping water, just getting to that point. Because he still is pretty full and he still is a big dude. But to get to that next level, I do think that it will maybe take not 13 pounds, but maybe 5 or 6 good pounds.
But that also doesn't mean that he lost muscle, because you can still gain and be better than you were your last show. And you could be the damn same weight. You can still have more muscle, be more peeled, and still be, let's just say, 212. You know,
it's the mindset, it's perspective, it's the body dysmorphia. You think that if the scale is under 200 pounds, what do they say? The victim weight, you know, and I joke around with it too. You can't let the scale dictate you. I know Banks, you know, with his weight cap, he was under it. I know Ben Quill's like under it far bit amount, but Ben Quill, you know, he'll have a lot more size than some of the guys that he is next to on stage. You know, it's just a matter of, you know, look at Dan, for example. He weighs less than me on stage, but the way that he's built and obviously having a lot more weight in his upper body versus his lower half, he still has like big, dense legs on top, but the insertion points and, you know, his hollow bones and his structure and stature, bone density, it plays a role. Like the dude looks every bit of 220, 230 on stage.
I think this is Bhuwan's show to lose. Oh, I'm sorry, Bhuwan's show to win. But I think he will lose if he is only focusing on the fullness game, because one thing we know about Deke, he's going to come in peeled. And if Deke brings...
But is it Miami peeled?
Oh, if it's Miami peeled, it's over.
Bhuwan's taking it. Bhuwan's taking this.
I think Bhuwan's taking it too. I don't want to see him limit.
Who else is in the lineup?
I
just know how cuts works, and you see some of these guys that look a little off 2 weeks out or peak week. Yeah, we've seen it with Mario Stewart. We're like, oh shit, and then all of a sudden, Stephen Cow is notorious for this. He kind of looks like he's a little off. This show was different because he's a YouTuber and he used to post like all the stuff that he was eating, and even Ariel said like he almost ratted himself out because he'd be eating his own shit on prep. But anyways, like, yeah, it just comes down to the peak. It could literally transform. And I've learned this from some of my amateur guys, the amount, like when you add the
Tyler's
carbs
judging
in.
the show too.
Oh, he is.
Bhuwan has shape, bro.
Yeah.
It's going to come down to shape as well. Bhuwan has probably one of the most aesthetic frames in the league, in my opinion. I think he's long, he's filled out, he has just that taper, like that action figure.
The guy who did it last year is doing this show.
I don't know who did it last year. I don't even know who won the show last
Guy
year.
with the fucking obliques.
Guillermo?
No, he's qualified. I think he's already he's chilling. I think all these guys that are hitting it once are getting out.
Is
Gochez doing this?
I wouldn't have Gochez beating him either, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
if he did.
Well, he has structure.
If Gochez came on, he's beating Bhuwan.
I don't know if that is actual, like, I thought his name was Juan.
Bhuwan's beating Gochez.
Because Bhuwan don't have a back like Gochez.
I'm telling you, I think if
Yes.
if this is Juan Gochez, I think Juan is going to win the show. But if not, I don't know who that is. If it's not, then I think this is Bhuwan.
I don't know who Gochez Manuel Gochez is.
I don't think that's him.
I think this is a mistake. You don't think this is it?
He's not from Colombia, is he?
No, he is doing
That's
that.
him. That's him. They just had a typo. That's him.
Oh.
He's from Colombia. Yeah.
Yeah,
he is doing that
he
show
did
because
he
they
did it
wanted
2
me to
years
come out
ago when
there.
his male won.
They wanted me to come out there to do a seminar, but I couldn't.
I think this is the one Gochez. Listen, the only reason I'm saying that is he just qualified. We've seen him bring a great package. I actually thought he brought a good package to the Worlds. I think.
Have any of you competed there?
No.
I know the year that I won Chicago, Ariel offered to pay for me to go because he's like, Tyler, he wanted me to win so much because I was, second, third, I was close. And that was where I was in Vancouver. It was a Sunday show, and like Sunday all the way to Columbia was like the next Saturday. So I only had 6 days from there anyways. And then traveling would have been like 2 days just with the flight and figuring out everything and then food. But I didn't know how it would be. He was like, oh, hit up Corey. Corey's done it before. It seemed like so much stress. But Ariel, I told him that I want to do Chicago, and he was like against it. He's like, I got Nick, I got this, I got that. Alex Toplin's doing it. And like, you were like the name of the weekend because everybody knew, like, coming off of where you were the previous year at the Olympia with the improvements, like coming back, you were like that force. And my chances of winning were like non-existent as far as like me kind of talking and seeing the list out. But he wanted me to go there, and I'm so glad that I didn't, because imagine going there and then coming up short, and then kind of I wouldn't be in the position I'm at right now if I ended up doing that show. But I was always curious of how it would be if I qualified earlier in the year, kind of like now, and I had some wiggle room and I needed some more data or whatever. Maybe next year if I got something earlier. I wouldn't mind doing that show. I always wanted to do Japan. India is a no-go. I can't be on a plane that long, bro. I just can't. I can't. I feel like I'd get sick there. And I know whenever I go on live, the fans in India, and I hate calling people fans because I don't like sounding big time. I'm not big time. It just bodybuilding's bodybuilding. I'm not a celebrity. But the supporters and fans that I get from India, I think it's out of anybody, that's the biggest country that I have the most influence over. Yeah. These people are crazy, bro. These people are crazy, like not in a bad way, but they absolutely love my look and the way that they make me feel. It's like,
imagine if guys were like that here. Imagine if it was like that in America. We would love that. Like, imagine going to a show and like it is in India and that was here, you'd feel like an NFL player, right?
Yeah. And it's crazy because just from the USA, looking at the Olympia breakdown, out of all the guys, I'm number 5 in the USA. So it's Aaron, Corey Morris, Ben Quill,
that's pretty
Daniel
cool.
Hunter, and me. That's within that first, let's say, 3 call outs. In top 20, I'm one of 5. So that to me is like cool because they see that, I'm the clean cut white guy from the USA. They're probably like, oh my God, and sometimes I used to go to an India barber. I started looking like them. I swear to God, like I had the fade. They cut it a specific way. Same thing with my buddy.
They cut it high.
The Arabic people, they cut. I started smoking hookah. I started having a bro. They started talking to me in their language, and I had the beard dye, and it's like, no, I speak.
You started
American,
understanding it for a second. You were like, oh, I'm in it.
Yeah, I'm like saying Walla. Like I was talking to him, bro. I was chilling. I'm like, now I just need the air of money.
Get a red money. All right, fellas.
I got the Rolex and the hookah, so I think I fit in. I got the fade. Yeah. I just need a Bentley.
I'm about to go grab a meal, fellas. Anything you guys want to add, round out the podcast with?
The number one thing that I want to add is I'm currently with Physique's brand. He actually officially signed me for non-exclusivity, so I am still with Jed North. But the Now or Never brand, I think, I always think it's kind of stupid when you have a catchphrase, but with dark sport, like the never fucking give up mentality. But this mentality for me actually, balances a lot out in my life as far as what I represent. And when I got injured and came back from it, it was kind of like, you either do this now or you never. I never want to waste an opportunity, getting a second chance at life and being able to do what I want. And I sound like a broken record talking about this stuff, but it is true. So as far as the simple design and logo, they got oversized t-shirts, shorts. And a lot of people have been asking me about the fanny pack, which fanny pack saved my life. It was used as a tourniquet cut off me when I was shot. So that's what actually saved my life. So people see me in a fanny pack now. I'm like, you never know if it's going to save your life. So, go get yours before it's gone. So
drop your
that link is in my bio.
Is it most shredded?
What's up?
Is it just outside of the top 5 most shredded?
And I know Aaron just.
I'll let you live that up until you come to the Olympia, and I'm going to show you a standard of conditioning that you've never seen in your entire life.
Show you a standard of a back and a structure and round muscle belly.
Hey, I like how people say I have no back when I do. I just don't in comparison to guys like Aaron. It's kind of like when you're next to somebody that has something really, like, for example, if you're 6'3" in the NFL or in the NBA, you're going to be considered short.
That's true.
So, but you are tall. It's depending on what you're in comparison to. So people have a shift in perspective when you're seeing something on stage, when you're next to a guy that has a really good back. Shun has a crazy, crazy good back. He has a very similar back structure to Aaron as far as the lumbar in the middle. Obviously, Aaron has a much denser, fuller back, and it's bigger, and he's taller. It's a different shape. But as far as when I talk about the insertion points, it's very similar. It's very complete from top to bottom. He's just smaller. Some guys are going to expose me with that because I don't have a traditional back. I have more of a hardcore back. I'm vascular. I'm not as symmetrical as some of these other guys, but I'm working on it. It's improving. So it's not that I have no back. It's just that it's not as good as some of these other guys, but we're on the track to make it good enough.
I think, okay, I don't want to bring this back up and make this out longer. I got into a mini debate on whether or not Drew had a top 10 front shot in men's physique.
This isn't a debate. So whoever you are, debating with, I could, easily disarm that because Tyler Mannion told me that I have a top 5 front in the league of men's physique.
Let me ask you this, because they brought up a specific comparison, and I said yes, but they were very
sure you did until the video comes out and I'm out of the top 6.
Now back to what I was saying. I think that they brought up you or Javier Mullins for a front shot. I don't want Drew to say the word. Chris, you know who Javier Mullins is?
No. So that tells me everything.
Aaron, you know who Javier Mullins is, right?
Yeah, no, he does not have a better front shot than fucking Drew.
Real quick. He's
Hey, Drew, did Tyler tell you that on April 1st?
Oh, he told me after I won Toronto.
Oh man,
April Fools. Hey, I got a new name for Alex.
Here we go.
Oh, I need to hear this.
What do I
Teeter Totter Toplin.
Hilarious.
Hey, I'm changing him in my phone right now.
Hey, what's your favorite car? Oh, I like Corvettes. Oh, yeah, me too. But then it's like somebody else asks him what his favorite car is. Well, what's your favorite car? Oh, me too.
All right,
what's your favorite color? Whatever yours is.
Chris, what did I tell you the other day?
What about? Oh no, we were talking about you, Drew, outside the back on his patio, and he definitely was vouching for you the whole time. So he did not.
But you don't say the nice things I said about him. Say the mean things I said about him.
Oh, okay. Well, he said that your back will never be good, and that the next time you guys compete together, he is going to wipe you on the stage, and it's going to be a perfect score.
Well, I could already debunk that because if my back will never be good, look at how much it's already improved in a short period of time. No, I know he does, but I mean, as he jokes around too, I joke around back. But you know, I try to give examples of it too. And the one thing that's fun about this podcast is any of you guys, if it's ever taken out of context or something, which I think we're all on the same page because we have mutual respect, it's just an easy conversation. We could have that conversation without getting in our feels because we all know our own worth. I know what I'm bringing. Alex knows what he's bringing. Banks knows what he's bringing. You know what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? And you have a good mindset with breaking down things and analyzing it. And just because you're not a pro doesn't mean that the way that you view the sport isn't, you know,
Oh, I've been in
appreciated
this
or at
game for
least
so
taken
long. Yeah.
seriously.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's experience. And between all of us, we have a lot of experience, a lot of pro wins as well, a lot of Olympia appearances. So it's the one thing that I value from all of this and having, you know, being all on the same page, but with different opinions. So me being able to give you guys some shit and you guys give it back to me, we all have something that we're improving. You know, for Banks, I think it's mainly outdoing the only two other guys that are ahead of him right now at the Olympia. And it's ultimately just bringing in a better version of himself. Alex, it's the same thing, taking time off, being able to, you know, improve your condition and more so your health and cleaning out your system so you could adapt better. And then Chris, you got a lot of things that are, you know, coming up as far as, you know, you had your surgery and then getting back, kind of see how the physique is changing. And, you know, you got the best coach in the game. So it's always a work in progress, and that's bodybuilding for you, but it's the things that you pick up along the way. And I would have never thought that we'd be here with this podcast. I think most podcasts discontinue after 20 episodes or don't even see 20 episodes. But I mean, we don't get paid to do this. We do this because we solely love it, and we're giving back advice. We're having guests on here. You know, Dan, I feel like he was a little bit nervous, but it goes to show that he appreciates what we do. And then he says that he watches it. And, you know, it's cool. Even if people don't like one of us or, you know, all of us, it seems like they still watch it religiously. And whether they're good or bad comments, they're going out of their way to, you know, bitch and complain about, you know, the timestamps, but they're still watching it anyways. You know, so it's actually cool to see that because people find value in, you know, at least one of us or all of us or none of us, but they still watch it. So
I think next week,
you know, it's funny to give each other shit.
Next week we'll pull up the comments and see what they say.
Yeah.
I remember that one episode when we did that. That shit was so funny, bro. So if you're watching this and you had a thought about something,
oh, we're still recording. Good thing I didn't talk some extra shit about all that. No, I'm just fine.
Bro, I'm telling you, the Indian community will kill somebody. They're crazy. They're like that masters guy.
Make you a shish kebab and roast you over their family fire.
Oh, and Alex, one
And
more thing
eat you.
before we get off. Any of the viewers that are out there, whenever we started this podcast, we were talking about peptides and other things for healing. If you guys have any questions, hit me up on Instagram. I'll point you in the right direction.
You're too new to drop your plug. Get out of here, man.
No, I have to, because I get these questions all the time, and I just want people to know that there's a place that they can go to ask these questions and not hurt themselves. Because whenever we talk about these things, a lot of people will just throw the kitchen sinks at themselves. And I just want to be an advocate to really point them in the right direction, teach them, educate them off camera, you know, just in my DM. So if they have any questions on that stuff, come to me. I got you.
You guys hit up.
People don't understand the knowledge that Chris has, especially the first time that I met him. I think you reached out because you were doing stim treatment like before a show. Mm-hmm. Go into that real quick and explain what it is, because people don't think understand what you do and how involved you actually are in men's physique and how much you know about the human body with the eye that you have.
Yep. So I used to do what was called the Nu-X. So I sold my machine about a year ago to actually a professional baseball player that he wanted to use it. But I actually worked on Alex back in the day. I worked on a lot of guys during the New York Pro, tons of pro shows. And what I would do is I would use it not only for in the gym purposes of growing new muscle, but I'd bring them in, I'd peak them better. So guys that hold a lot of water, especially African-American guys, they hold a lot of water before a show and they can't get that water out, you know? So I would go there before the show. These guys would hire me. I'd put them through a protocol on the Nu-X machine, and that Nu-X machine would actually help pull. You would literally see them start sweat, and it's pulling out all that intracellular water. So that's what I began my career with. I'm working with a lot of pros. Me and Alex did it like right there back in the day. That was actually after a workout in the gym here in Tampa, and he had a problem activating his chest hard. So we actually hooked it up to his chest that day, went through a workout. And Alex, tell me how you felt after that thing. How was it?
Yeah, I mean, the Nu-X was awesome. I
realize how big Alex is right there. And Chris, right. I think you're like 240 there, right? 230.
Yeah, I think I was in prep at that time. I think I'm 215 right there. So you can tell how big Alex is.
Yeah, no, the Nu-X machine is awesome. I think it got my fibers kind of like activated as we were going. I think that's the biggest thing with struggling muscle groups. It's getting the fiber stimulated broken down, I think a lot of times other muscle groups take over. So with this, it creates like a almost like, you know how the mind, like your friend will tap you in certain muscle groups when you're training
My
it.
muscle,
It's like that, but
connection.
10 times more, right? It kind of helps you instead of like touching to activate the muscle. It's like you wake the fuck up. It's you know what I mean. So I thought it was I wish you still had it. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, I do too. I really regret selling that thing because it was any type of like weak body part you have, like let's just say it's your shoulders or your rectors, lower back. You could put that thing on, you can use it for a couple months, and I guarantee you will see a huge difference in your
Yeah,
physique. But there's not a lot of people that do it anymore. I know there's only one guy at Raw that does it, and a couple other places in New York, but I haven't seen it. It used to be a little bit popular.
Andy, you still uses it, right?
What was that?
Andy?
Yep. I know Brandon Curry owns one.
It works, dude. It works.
Yeah.
All right,
it's actually the reason why he kept his legs going into the Olympia last year and the year before. Is
prevents the muscle breakdown from the recovery.
He solely used it on his legs every single leg workout. So,
as always, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. I'll see you guys in the next episode. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, make sure you comment below, talk your shit. We'll talk back our shit next week. And turn up your cardio, grab a glass of water. I'll see you
no timestamps.